Amadin Ogbewe. Now, 9 years ago, the All Progressive Congress was formed. In 2015, the party wrested power from the People's Democratic Party and has since been ruling the country. But recently, however, the party has had issues with hosting or holding its national convention. February 26th, the last announced date, has been moved forward. What does this mean for the party? Will 2023 come too soon for the different factions? Tonight I'm joined by a guest. His name is Festus Ofume. He is a lawyer and is also an APC Chieftain. Tonight he shares more light on the issues within the APC. Mr. Festus, good evening. Welcome to Top Talk.
Good evening, and thank you very much for having me.
All right. Let's start with from what's currently going on and perhaps move backwards and then back to the current. Is the APC in trouble? Now, I ask this because since about 2020 with the national chairman, Ofume, who was, I am in some words, forcibly removed because some issues within the party. Since then, we've had the caretaker committee ruling, taking control of the affairs till now. Almost by June, that'll be 2 years. And now the convention seems very or almost difficult to hold. February 26th was announced, and now it has been postponed. And amongst other issues, we also have congresses that were held, parallel congresses where multiple persons emerged, and there are a lot of issues bedeviling the party right now. Should people in the party be worried? What is going on?
Yeah, thank you. It is true that there are a few issues, I would say, rocking the party right now. But the good thing is that APC as a party, who currently is the largest political party in Africa, is endowed with politicians who actually have the mechanism of putting themselves together and settling every issues that arises. What you're seeing happening, what you see that is happening in APC is not peculiar to APC. When you have a large family of people with diverse opinions, things like this are meant to happen. But however, the party is on the right course. We've been able to put ourselves together. As you can see, that a new date has been announced for the national convention, and that is coming and is going to happen. You see, the reason why it's taking this long and taking time to get to where it is that on the ground, the party, the caretaker committee that is piloting the affairs of the party actually wants to do things in the right way, to do things in a legitimate way, so that we will be devoid of court cases here and there at the end of the day. Okay. So what you are seeing is actually not happening as a result of will I say carelessness or incompetence in the hands of those that are piloting the affairs of the party, but actually they are taking their time, to make sure that all the T's are crossed and the I's are dotted, so that at the end of the day, the party will come up as a great party that it has been, as the ruling party in Nigeria, and to be strong enough to present to the Nigerians that this is a credible party to continue come 2023.
Right, and you don't think that perhaps the same thing that happened to the PDP is perhaps what is starting to sprout up in the APC, where, because like you said, it's a large party, I think up to 2 weeks ago, we still had major defections happening. So in that regard, there are no speculations, or you're saying there is no chances of some persons breaking away due to these constant issues?
People that are breaking away, it's happening everywhere. I also see people who are coming into APC from PDP. It is true that in a large family, like I said, even in the family of just two, there are disagreements. There are disagreements that happen within a small family, let alone such a large political party. So when this disagreement comes, we have our internal mechanism of putting ourselves together, of resolving the big conflict and come out stronger. But however, there are still human beings who will not be satisfied with the way things are going. And when you see such people that are decamping from APC to the PDP, it's obvious that those people are not progressive. APC is for the progressive. And if you have a progressive mind, you also allow that, you also know that we're not meant to be selfish. The interest first of Nigerians come to mind, come to play in the APC before self-interest. Because no matter how large a party is, if the people are not accepting the political party as the ruling party in Nigeria, we are failures. So the fact that people are defecting, it has not done any damage at all to APC. In fact, we are coming out stronger, as you can see. That lots of defection, that if we want to even look at it, that people are defecting from the PDP to the APC, because you have seen that APC as a ruling party has come up strong, have been well guided because of the strong principles of the President Muhammadu Buhari, who has always supported the party, has grown the party to where it is, and that is why people are defecting en masse to the APC, because APC will not hold on to power by force. APC will be given the power willingly by Nigerians. So continue come 2023.
Yeah, that's interesting. Although when you say would not hold on to power, I remember during the 2019 elections, President Buhari did say, when asked what words would he have for the person if he doesn't emerge as winner, and he said he will congratulate himself because he will be the winner. But let's leave that aside. Let me just point out to a specific defection or set of defections, and what's your take on it is, if that did not in any way maybe weaken the APC. I'm talking about the Lagos for Lagos group. Those were a bunch of young Nigerians, and I will get further on into youth, the power of youth within the APC. Now, those were a very great number of young Lagosians, former APC members who moved to the PDP, and they were welcomed, in a very grand style by governors, a lot of PDP, the higher-ups all welcomed them. Don't you think that might have weakened the power of the APC in Lagos specifically?
You see, the mistake that people are making actually is by seeing this little group of people who defected from the APC to the PDP in Lagos State. Lagos State is an APC state. Lagos State is 95% APC. It's almost completely APC state. So the opposition party in Lagos State, which is the PDP, is an enhanced view. So the very little people who defected, this Lagos for Lagos youth, has been overemphasized, has been overblown by media. In effect, on ground, the effect that they have on the party is next to nothing. They have not shaken the party at all. The party is so deeply rooted that Lagosians know no other political party than the APC. And I bet you, in a few months from now, you will see what's going to happen. You will see that most of those people that have gone to the PDP just to spite some leaders in the APC, they will come back because there's no room for that. APC is the only political party that if you defect from any other party into that party, you are given a level ground to play. You are welcome and you are seen as a stakeholder in the party. But that does not happen in the PDP. So those of them that went to the PDP, they will understand that the PDP does not actually practice democracy. So they are coming back to where they left. Trust me.
All right, so that's fair. Although you said they don't really make any difference.
Yes, they won't.
In return,
we will accommodate them. We'll take them back. They should come back to their original home. That's where they belong, and that's where they're coming back to.
All right, so let's start from the genesis. Like I said, we'll be going back and forth. The genesis of all this, where we had ACN, CPC, AMPP coming together to form the APC. Now, taking power from the PDP. There's something that's been around, or people have been talking about, which is a difference between winning elections and, and governance. So, in that aspect, after almost half the time that the PDP spent in office with the APC now, would you say that the APC has done better?
Obviously, if I'm very honest with you, if this country has been ruled by the APC with the kind of agenda that the APC and the manifesto that the APC has for Nigeria, the love that the APC has for Nigeria, if this country has been ruled by APC from 1999 to date, Nigeria would have been competing with the countries in the Western world and America and US. we are where we are today because of the bad governance. We are here where we are today because of the damage that the PDP has done to this country. Now, let me tell you why it is this difficult for us to come out from it. It is this difficult because the backbone of Nigeria, the backbone of Nigeria economy has been shut out completely by the APC, the PDP. So it took Nigeria the first 4 years of this APC administration to even get the country to come out from the intensive units that the PDP left us in when they left in 2015. So if you look at that, the repairs, the parabeating that the APC government led by President Amadin Ogbewe is doing to the country, you will understand that the government has done so much. They are building structures, when I mean structures, foundations that will take this country in no distant time to a level that they can play with any country in the Western world. APC has done well in terms of policy, infrastructure, because I keep telling people, what you are seeing that is happening everywhere, this security, which everybody talks about, it's a global issue. It's not peculiar to Nigeria. It's a global issue. It's everywhere. People are being killed every day, every moment, in the US, in Canada. Today, Ukraine and Russia, they are at loggerhead. So, insecurity is a global issue. What has made it more significant in Nigeria, it is because that the previous administration has left the security agencies that are saddled with the responsibility of tackling insecurity in Nigeria empty and naked. You can't fight insecurity with bare hands.
But after almost 7 years, don't you think we can't point fingers at the PDP?
No, this is not about pointing fingers. Like I told you, I said, you see, it's a process. You don't just rush someone out from intensive care. The intensive unit is where you are meant to be looked at carefully, resuscitate, and then you come back into the ward. Nigeria just came back into the ward, and you see that we are getting there. We are getting there. I will give you a good example. Look at this fuel crisis that is happening. If not for the incompetence of some bad elements in the agencies that are meant to check the importation of fuel, the government has done very well. That from 2015 to now, we do not know, we have not remembered what is called fuel crisis. And this is something that is we have almost accepted it as a normal way of life during the PDP-led government.
But even at the APC, occasionally there are fuel scarcity, although not this particular adulterated fuel issue. And also, just to get back to insecurity, when you say it's a global issue,
yes,
don't you think that is something anybody can say? Because take for instance, under the PDP, we had the Chibok event that spanned in global campaign. Mm-hmm. But since then, we've had multiple Chibok level events under the APC. Now, could the PDP have said then that the Chibok issue is just happening because generally there's insecurity everywhere? So how do you really, especially because the president had three areas that he mainly talked about: economy, insecurity, and I think corruption. So in that case, don't you think Nigerians can hold the current administration to task, especially for those three things, and say that, what, you've not done as well as you said you would, or things have not really changed, or perhaps gotten worse? How do you now react to that when people say, things are not better than they were, using indices and everything, the prices of things and all that, and insecurity and everything? So how do you respond to that?
Yeah, you see, when people say these things are not, things are tougher these days as against the way it was before, it is because the president made it a point of duty to bring Nigerians to where we should be as a matter of fact, and not where we are assuming that we are. During the PDP-led government, people are embezzling money everywhere. People are living far above their means. Contractors are not completing their projects. They are taking money. Contracts are being inflated, overinflated. Contracts are being, projects are being abandoned. But the president came, Amadin Ogbewe, said, no, this cannot continue. You cannot continue to earn 250,000 naira monthly and have 12 or 13 exotic cars in your garage. You cannot continue to earn 150,000 monthly and you travel business class every 4 months to America. Where are you getting that money from? We're living above our means. Principals and headmasters of primary schools and secondary schools respectively had up to 4 of their children studying abroad. Where are they getting this money from? Because the PDP government made it a free-for-all for everybody. Just come to the government coffers and take money and embezzle money and all that. So when this government came in and all those channels were blocked, if contracts have been awarded to you, you must complete your job. Look at the mess that happened in NDDC. People were being paid, people were bringing in payment slips when no jobs were awarded. No contract has been done. And they were paid. They were smiling to the banks every time. So, those set of persons, they were living in mansions, in hotels. Go to Hilton. They were living, Hilton would be booked for months and none of them was living in there. These are stolen government money. But the president said, no, these things can't continue. And because they are not able to maintain that standard of life, because they are no longer stealing, they are no longer seeing avenue to loot the country to death, they are all complaining that things are becoming tough. Things are hard. Now, it will trickle down if you ask what you want to say. Because those politicians who were little money will go home and they were dashing money anyhow to their followers and all. So because they are not getting it that more anymore, the followers are not seeing the money flowing. Some of them don't even go home unless festive period. But during Jonathan's time, during the PDP election, some politicians made it a point of duty not to even, they were going to their village from Abuja every Friday, so on Thursdays they are gone to return back on Monday or Sunday. Because there were a lot of government money that they are embezzling. But as it is now, they can't afford that. Because the president has made it mandatory that you must live according to what you earn. That is why people are crying. That is why people are shouting that, oh, well, there's no money flowing, there's no money in the circulation. What kind of money in the circulation? The money that are in the circulation is actually now the kind of money that should be in the circulation. Not looted money, not dashing, stealing money everywhere.
Yeah, so, but it's not just the supporters of the PDP that are complaining now. The average man out there, average woman in the markets is also being affected by inflation and issues bordering the economy and all that. And let's even go into, or let's not dwell too much on governance now, because we're talking about the party structure.
Right.
Perhaps another conversation will delve more into it. But now, let's talk about those or people who see the APC and the PDP as the same, and are going for this idea that come 2023 or perhaps beyond 2023, we need something new and something different because the APC and the PDP have become almost the same. What do you make to that? How do you reply to that? The way people put you and your party and the PDP together in one box?
Yeah, you see, when the people are saying that because of the level of back and forth. When I mean back and forth, people defecting from the PDP to the APC, and then a few that defects from APC to PDP. And they say, oh, well, it's the same. They are the same thing. They are the same group of people. But you see, like I told you, when you join the APC, I told you earlier that you are given a level playing ground. It is the only political party that welcomes you as a new member and gives you the same opportunity, the same enabling environment that is being given to the old members. But that does not happen in the PDP. If you go to the PDP today and that you want to contest the election come 2023, even if the people like you, you have all the qualities to be a good aspirant and eventually candidate, the PDP will not allow you the PDP will checkmate you. In short, they have a slogan that it never reach your turn. It is not your turn yet. That people are on the queue waiting.
But
the APC don't do that. The APC will allow you.
Ironically, that very statement you made is something that just the last couple of days has been attributed to one of the national leaders of the party, Bola Ahmed Tinubu, where he basically told young people to wait. You know, I would have to, be there first, and then you can continue. When he also made statements that he's ready to fight dirty. So wouldn't you say that is also the belief in the APC?
Yeah, you see, when Tinubu said that, anyway, I think they came out in the media to say that the media misquoted him and all that. But the difference is there, that in as much as Tinubu is saying that the young ones should wait, and that he's ready to fight dirty, even if that's not what he said, the party is not Tinubu. He's an aspirant. And every other person who have joined the party lately are allowed to aspire. Ojus Okalo has been an APC card carried member. I'm sure he was a governor, two times governor under the PDP. Today he's in APC. He has declared interest that he wants to run. Many of them. So it's a party that gives a level playing ground. And because of that ideology, that is why they are the progressive. Because of that ideology, running election and winning election under APC becomes easier. They understand the democratic process. But that is not obtaining in the opposition party, especially APC when PDP when they were the leading political party. So in general, they are not the same. You cannot categorize APC and PDP to be the same. So APC is actually the party that understands the demography of democracy.
So what are your comments on the third force?
The third force will try. I mean, it's a free society for anybody to come up and aspire and what you want to do. But the decision of who the party that will remain in power come 2023 is given to the electorate. And with what APC has done, with the love that APC have attracted from the Nigerian people as it is today, I will tell you without mising words that you can take it to the bank. That come 2023, Nigerians will vote massively for APC. Nigerians will vote overwhelmingly for APC as a party that has sustained democracy in Nigeria, as a party that for the first time we have seen a president that does not interfere in the electoral process in the country. It has happened in Edo State, it has happened in Anambra, it's happening everywhere. The president stays clearly away from the electoral process and said, let the electorate decide on what to do. That is democracy. He's growing democracy, and Nigerians are watching, Nigerians are seeing what's happening. That is why what I call came into the party to join hand with the president to build a strong political party in this country, to build a strong nation that come 2023 will be handed over to a strong president that will take the country over from where President Buhari has left us to a next level.
All right, we'll talk more about the specific things going on in the party now. Yeah. But I actually saw a comment from a fellow APC member, and he mentioned, he was questioning just amongst his fellow members about the way forward on high cost of nomination form and youth inclusion. So now, within the party, how well would you say youths are being, for lack of a better word, appreciated and allowed? You say that it's a progressive party where everyone has free reign. Well, what would you say, or if you are able to release such information, how much is the nomination forms, especially for youth leaders who hope to gain positions in the party, and how well are their voices heard when they do end up on the leader's position?
Yeah, you see, the nomination forms, the prizes are fixed by the party and all. But again, you see, the youths are putting themselves together. And when it comes to this issue of nomination forms, we should not be seeing it as if when a youth is aspiring for a position and all, that he's not capable. What I mean capable, financially okay to purchase forms. They are stronger when it comes to galvanizing and talking to people. Because I believe in the theory of inclusion as against the theory of standing alone. If we come together as youths and we believe in the ideology and believe in the person, 250,000 or 500,000 naira to purchase form is not going to be a problem when we believe in the mission, we believe in what we want to do. So they will be able to figure it out to purchase their forms and run for these offices.
But what about those who can easily afford that? And I'm talking about now the issue of godfatherism within parties. So even if you have a youth who has vision, who is ready, and is being a bunch of people combining, you have other people who, with the snap of a finger, can raise that. Not even raise, they already have that money on standby and can decide to pick. This is my anointed, and this is the one I want. So how do youths who just have a dream and want to make a difference have a chance if these factors are stacked against them?
Well, I believe that you have to work hard for everything you want, and there is a starting point where you have to prepare for something, a vision that you are looking for. You said the caretaker committee, for instance, you said it came in by June, it's going to be 2 years. So for anybody who is aspiring to pick up a nomination form to be one of the party executives, you had about almost close to 2 years to prepare yourself for it. You understand? So I don't believe that anything should be given freely. You have to make effort to fight and battle for what you want. In as much as there's somebody who has a godfather and says, okay, he's coming up to pick up. Look, by the time they pick up the form, at the end of the day, it's the popularity that you have that will determine whether you win or not. So I think that this idea where we're beginning to think that because the bourgeois, the big time old politicians who have the money bags have what it takes to just pick up the form and send the youths away, we should go away with that idea. We should come up and fight with what we have. It's not only about the issue of money. We should come up and fight with what we have. Let us have that acceptability among the peoples, and you will see how far you can go with that. That is my belief. I don't believe that they should make the forms free and let everybody come in and pick it up and then.
What is free for just youths and maybe women?
Well, I think in the past the party has always had a soft mind towards women and youth, and I'm very sure that this is not going to be a different case. That kind of compassionate effort towards growing youths and encouraging youth and women in politics will continue in the APC, and I'm very sure that that will be taken care of. That the youths in this time around and the women will have a very good opportunity to showcase themselves in politics.
All right. So, what can you say about the zonal congresses? We had the committees were just announced sometime today, and also the issues on ground. I think, pardon me if I mistake the name. I think in is it Governor? I'm sorry, one of the APC, Governor Ganuji. Yes, is currently having issues with the Shekarau faction, and they're going back and forth. They're in courts. And also in a couple of states, we had multiple leaders emerging in parallel congresses. What is going on in that aspect? How is that going to be resolved, especially with the national convention now being postponed and all that? Do those things have an effect, and also on the zonal congresses?
Well, there were issues in few states, and you can recall that after the state congresses, reconciliation committee were set up to look into those states that had issues, and they actually visited those states. They visited people. They were called into Abuja, and issues were looked into to see how it would be resolved. A lot of the states' issues were resolved, and it was based on that the inauguration and the swearing in of the state chairmen were done at the state national secretariat in Abuja. It was only 2 states, I think Kano and Sokoto, that their chairmen were not inaugurated. So the chairmen that have been inaugurated means that a structure has been accepted and recognized by the party. So, like I said earlier, there are people that will be aggrieved, but APC has a mechanism of putting themselves together. We are reconciling, we are bringing them back, we are understanding that the interest of the party is supreme. And if you have that ideology at the back of your mind, you will join hands to grow the party. And because the reconciliation effort has yielded so much benefit, to the point that issues have been resolved to almost 90%. That is why the National Congress were postponed and has been fixed for a particular date in March 26, and the zonal congresses will come. So once the zonal congresses has been done, the next thing is the National Congress. And once that is done, there's a substantive chairman of the party that will take over the affairs with the party, which is executive arms. And that is what we need. The party will be strong and preparing themselves for the 2023 national general election.
All right. So in that, thanks for bringing that up. Now, what's your thoughts on zoning? And we know that it's a kind of a gentleman's agreement, but it seems to be causing more and more troubles. Because there's the issue of trying to balance everything so that no one feels marginalized and so on and so forth. I know that the PDP has zoning in its constitution. I don't think the APC does, however. But still, I think Governor El-Rufai at the State House briefing today mentioned that the zoning formula about state positions that were held by a certain region moving to the other region. Yes. Now, how is that going to work, and is it going to affect the choice or the primaries and whoever gets to run for the position or put themselves up for presidential candidates?
No, I don't think so. I think, and I've always believed that this zoning is also a component of democracy. It's a component that will see democracy being played out. You understand? So, because in everything we do, we have to look at how to protect the interests of the minority. We have to look at how to have both hands wash each other so that there can be an equilibrium. What the party has done is actually a very good thing. And saying, let's zone these positions to this region and the other positions to this region. It allows changes. It allows all-inclusiveness. That's what they have done. So, they have said positions that were held by the North in the party now should be held by the South, and that of the South should be held by the North. Nothing has happened. It's the same thing. All the positions in the party are important positions. All offices are very, very vital to the growth of the party and eventual growth of the country. So, it is when people begin to see an office as not important as the other one, that is when you begin to have issues when it comes to zoning. If the North will be producing the national president, national chairman of the party, and the South will be producing the secretary and the deputy national chairman of the party, there is nothing wrong about it. You understand? So it's a way of accommodating everybody so that you will have a strong family, a strong political party at the end of the day. And like I told you, there were issues with this. And you've said what happened when the progressive governors and all the stakeholders decided to come together. They were able to come together. There were disagreements, but at the end of the day, they came up with a resolution. They came up with one voice that this is what will happen. And that was why the Governor El-Rufai came up and addressed the press that the party has resolved that this is what they are doing. And it is well and acceptable by everybody within the party. That is why the convention process is going on now that will lead us to March 26 for the National Convention.
All right. And I just want to take you back very quickly. I just recalled something that happened. An APC member was on national TV just a couple of days ago, and he made allegations that the Mai Mala Buni-led committee, Mai Mala Buni himself, is a, for lack of a better word, a duplicitous character because he seeks or he asks for monetary compensation for certain decisions, that there were issues in the party, and when it was time for it to be resolved, Buni would ask for one of the parties to, give him monetary compensation before he makes a decision. That's another APC member saying this. How do you react to that, especially with what you said before, that there's a level playing field?
Yeah, you see, I don't know why he came up to say that, but in as much as I'm not going to comment about this, but I don't envy Malabumi. The job of the governor alone, the executive job of a governor alone, it is so humongous, so tasking, let alone when you combine that with the job of the national chairman of the ruling political party in the country. So I don't envy him at all. It's a lot of job for him, and to the best of my knowledge, if you ask me, he has done very well in keeping the party intact, because there were a lot of times where this party would have degenerated to another level. But he has done very well, his committee, to make sure that they manage the party in vis-a-vis their visit and update to the president, who has also supported them in the leadership of the party in whatever they are doing. So I don't know about that, and I don't think that if that has happened, anyway, the president that you and I know, Muhammadu Buhari, who has zero tolerance for corruption, would have looked into that. And I tell you that if truly that was what it is, Malabumi would not still be the caretaker chairman by now. So, well, let me leave it at that. I don't think that that's happened, but if that was what he said, he might have a reason for saying that, and I don't want to go into that.
All right, so just to speak a little bit more on the caretaker chairman, what you said he has done well. What about the issue with the Supreme Court judgment that narrowly went in favor of the APC and that could have gone the other way? If simply I'm talking about the Ondo State issue, where I think the issue was that one of the names that wasn't attached to the case was either the APC or Malabuni himself, and that's why the APC got away with it. But otherwise, there is an issue about him holding that office as a governor and as and currently. So do you think it's in the best interest of the party that he has maintained that position for so long? And even I think after that decision happened, we've had an election or two after that, and he still didn't hasten up things so that he could leave, so that the next person who takes the APC to court won't have that loophole to exploit.
You see, the matter is raised with Canada that we left the rest. The Supreme Court has made a pronunciation, and the Supreme Court, in their wisdom, has said this is what the law is and this is what the position is, and not to question them, we are to abide by it. And they have said that this is the position, that the Governor Bumi-led caretaker committee is duly constituted to pilot the affairs of the party, and that is what it is, and we are happy about that. So, but in terms of doing well, I will tell you my personal opinion and my personal evaluation of him and what he has done. He has done very well in piloting the affairs of the party to this very moment. Like I told you, there were a lot of issues that if we had our national convention before now, would have triggered a lot of bad omen for the party. But they were able to manage the crisis, and today, as I can tell you, almost everybody in the party are happy that this is where we are and that we're having our national convention, we'll produce a national chairman, and then from there we will get ourselves stronger towards 2023 for the national general election.
All right, so let's end on this note now. What are your thoughts and your predictions for 2023? And you see, like you said, level playing field, and you mentioned that different people have declared, or actually what they're doing is they're making their interest known to the president. I don't think anyone of them has actually declared to the general public. They're consulting with the president first. Now, just in your opinion, what do you see happening? And also with like I said about the zoning matter, where do you think the APC is looking to now for their next president, especially because President Amadin Ogbewe, who has secured about, I think, per election about 14 million votes for the first time, would not be on the ballot come next year. So the APC now needs someone else who can pull about or more than that number. How do you see things turning out, especially with some persons who have not even declared, but there are a lot of talks that they would, or people are egging them on to declare.
Like I told you, APC as a party has done well. The president has supported the party, and I tell you for a fact that come 2023, APC will win the general election. APC primaries, presidential primary, is going to be very transparent and fair. That whoever emerges as a presidential candidate for the party will have support from all angles. It's going to be a process that users will appreciate the fact that yes, the process was so transparent and they have lost, and then they will support the party. It is only when it's shady, when it's not transparent, you see people who lose and begin to leave the party and then aggrieve. Once the process is fair and clean, remember it's a democratic process. I say that the winner that has the majority of the vote takes it. And if that is done in transparent manner, there's going to be no problem at all. So once that is done, it is over, because as it is right now, there is no opposition party. The PDP is so scattered that they don't have the base anymore. So PDP as it stands does not have a candidate at all. They don't even have somewhere who they can point to and say can be a presidential candidate for the PDP that can challenge them.
Their convention, and it was quite smooth.
Having a convention, it was what do they call it? Is it an elective convention that they were just able to put themselves together and pick up? Well, if you call that smooth, that is fine. Now, it is smooth because the PDP doesn't have anybody. They don't have structure. If they had made any move to make it very competitive, they will crumble. So with the position that the PDP have found themselves, they have to do what they did to actually remain alive. Come 2023, the little component that is left for a PDP will be crumbled, will be crushed completely. You will see what's going to happen. That the 14-15 million vote that you saw during President Muhammadu Buhari's election, you will see what will happen.
But if you take into account the last FCT elections, the PDP made quite a showing. I think it was shared evenly amongst APC and PDP, thereabouts. So are you saying finally that you have no concerns, no worry that you have viable opposition come 2022?
No, we do not have that. You know, the election that happened, the Federal Capital Territory, Abuja, has had the kind of political dynamics that you don't actually use the Abuja to judge. It's a place that is made up of different vibes of people and all that, and people are trooping, people are leaving, so changes happen a lot of them. But for states that we know that the PDP, that the APC are controlling currently, with about 22 governors from the APC currently, they are going to retain it. They are going to get more. I can tell you for a fact, states that I know here, that are PDP states that are already going to be taken over by APC come 2023. They are losing those states. Delta State is one of them. I can tell you for a fact. That is completely an APC state as it is right now. In as much as the PDP is ruling, Delta State is gone to APC. The pendulum has long left the side of the PDP to the APC in Delta State.
All right, so that's fair. Now, we are done actually, but we've run out of time. But now that I have you here, and you're a member of the APC, I don't know if you can put to rest some rumors that have been flying about former President Goodluck Jonathan moving over to the APC. Do you have any insight that you can?
Like I told you, we are welcoming people in our party. If Jonathan, if he wants to come to APC, he is very much welcome. And he will be given the same level playing ground with everybody. If he picks up ticket and he wants to run for the presidency, the constitution allows him, that is fine. He will be given the level playing ground.
If he's one of those people, according to you, who ruled the country for several years.
Yeah, that is, you see, the fact that he was among those that ruled the country for the several years doesn't mean that if he comes into the party, we should stigmatize and chastise him. He has the level playing ground. You see, APC is the party that follows their constitution. We don't play politics of hate. If he comes into the party and is accepted as a member of the political party, he's a member. The entitlement that I have, who have been in the party before him, is the same entitlement that he has when it comes to contesting and running for election. He's free to take ticket and contest for any primaries. And eventually, if he gets the ticket, he will go for the general election. So we are not going to say that, oh, because you have been this and all that. No. Maybe his ideology have changed. And he's not a progressive. That is why he's coming to the political party.
That's interesting.
So we will take it from there.
APC has the power to wash people of their sins.
Oh, yeah, we will look at people critically before we come. Not about washing you of your sin.
Yeah.
We'll look at you, that human being will change is constant. People change, and then we'll come in and then we'll take you in.
All right, Mr. Festus, thanks for coming.
Thank you very much. I appreciate you. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, no problem.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah.